Good morning, it's day 5 here in Spain. We have moved over to Madrid and we are starting our morning with another one of those eco-friendly tuk-tuk tours. So right now we're going to go meet our guide and they're going to show us around the city of Madrid. And then we kind of left the rest of the day open to pick whatever we want to do that we find interesting from the tour. So that's how we're getting started. It's time to go and check in right now.
Since March began, it's been raining all the time.
It was snowing in the middle of Spain.
Yes, but it snows in Madrid too.
Oh.
If you had a lot of time, you could go up to the mountains. You can go skiing, an hour and a half from Madrid, right? The mountains. Let's see if we can see the mountains today from that beautiful viewpoint I'm talking about. But yeah, we've got a bit of everything. We're missing the beach. That's the only thing. That's true. But we have the whole region of Madrid. If we get out of the city, we have natural parks, lakes, rivers. Very beautiful area. Yeah. But Madrid has a lot of green areas too, right? So today we're going to stop in one of those parks that we have over here.
What is your winter here? What months?
The what, sorry?
What months do you have like the coldest weather?
You mean the this kind of weather, raining and the thing is that it's been raining all last autumn. And it's still raining. We are surprised too that it's raining so much, because afterwards it's not going to rain so much in summer. Especially July and August, it gets very hot in Madrid. This is the cathedral. You see the statue over there of John Paul II? He came to open it for the first time, this cathedral, in 1993. Very modern, very young cathedral, and I'll tell you why. So I would like to begin by the very beginning of the regions of Madrid. So those who said, we're going to stay here for 200 years, we're going to begin an area, not going to be a town, not going to be a city, a military settlement on the top, nearby the cathedral, the Muslims, the Arabs. This is the only capital in Europe founded by the Arabs. Beginning on the other side of the cathedral, this is the entrance into the crypt on the right hand side. And we're going to get close to the Arab walls. Madrid was founded between 850 870, mid-9th century. Emir Mohammed I, coming from a very important city in the south of Spain, Córdoba, one of the most important cities in the world, 10th century. 1 century before, he's going to found Madrid up there on the top, a citadel, right? The watchtower, the castle, the mosque, surrounded by these walls you can see on the left-hand side. These walls, right at the end of the courtyard, were double the height they are nowadays. So we have to imagine a small place, Madrid, that finally is going to go up to the name Madrid. Rich in water, it means, because they will use the underground water to begin Madrid, and of course they will choose Madrid for a very important reason. The top of the hill, we are the highest capital in Europe, 2,200 feet, average height of Madrid, so very good view for the enemies coming round, the Christians in that time. This is a dead end, so I'm going to be turning around. Look at the bridge. This is an important bridge in the middle of this old part of the city. No link between these two sides of Madrid during centuries till they built it at the end of the 19th century. Rebuild it again, and this one is from the 30s of last century. So even the gardens over here next to the walls are renowned to that Islamic beginning of Madrid. They try to represent paradise on earth. The fountain in the middle, surrounded by bushes, by trees. For example, here we have the olive trees typical from the Mediterranean area, lavanda, rosemary used as medicine by the Arabs. And we keep on building this way our courtyards, our patios, like this one. So 200 years of domination of the Arabs, the Muslims that were coming from the north of Africa, Middle East, places like Syria. Yeah, there is a handcraft that we still keep on making, which is Damasceno, when they inlay silver and golden thread in the black steel. And that's done at the old capital of the Kingdom of Spain, Toledo. It's about an hour away from Madrid. So Madrid was a small place, not important, like other ones surrounding it. Toledo, Segovia, till the king decides in 1561, mid-16th century, he's going to move the court over here. So let's get next to the royal palace round here. Right, see, they're quite different, the style from downhill and this part of the cathedral. That is following a little bit more the style of the palace, neoclassical. The Royal Palace, which is the next building, is the biggest palace in Western Europe. It's a bit bigger than Buckingham, bigger than Versailles in Paris, more than 3,000 rooms just in case we want to have a look at all of them. So, worth a while to visit the Royal Palace. The last year a king is going to live at the Royal Palace, 1931, right? In that moment, although we have been traditionally a monarchy, Spain will be a republic, right? So, the king will have to leave the country, and we won't have a king back in Spain till 1975. In nowadays, the government system of Spain is a parliamentary monarchy. The king is the chief of the state, and the army symbolizing the union of the country. This is a music school. There's a few business that's related with music instruments, because we've got a few meters away the Royal Theatre, the Opera House. Okay, you notice you're in the old Madrid when you go through these narrow little streets we go through. Big maze, a big labyrinth, Madrid. Got a very old tavern round here from 1927, where the typical meal of Madrid is, they specialized on this one, cocido madrileño. Excuse me. So it's a big, when you sit on a Spanish table, you sit there for 2 or 3 hours. The soup comes first, the chief picks the chicken, the meat, the vegetable, and it keeps on coming, keeps on coming. You need a siesta after that, really. Lunchtime for us is the main meal, between 2 and 3 o'clock. That's why when you say, oh, these people are having dinner at 9, because normally we don't have a heavy dinner, right? It's the other way around like in the United States. Still people a bit sleepy, not crowded. About 2 hours you'll see much more people, and it's a Monday too. Right. There we go. Right, this area is known as Opera, since this is the Royal Theatre. A great part of the shows, the performance are operas, and the subway is called Opera. Are we going okay? Not too cold? Just in case, I got 2 blankets on the back part, right? You still okay because we're not moving too fast? No, don't worry. If you need it, just say, Gloria, give me some. I'll listen to you if you say it in Spanish.
Okay.
Mantas.
Mantas.
Mantas, right? That's. We're gonna learn a few words before we finish the tour.
Is it yo quiero mantas?
Muy bien.
Okay, see, when?
Yo quiero mantas.
I couldn't remember.
Very good. You see how it works? How many years were you studying Spanish?
It was an old Taco Bell commercial in America.
But that helps.
Yo quiero Taco
I remember
Bell.
when my mom was not very good at English. So one day she had a problem with one of her mates over there, and she couldn't speak properly. And she said, "Tell me how I need to know what to say to this woman. She's bothering me every single day." And so I said, "Okay." You know what I showed her? Not a bad thing. No. I just say, just tell her, look at her, seriously, and say, "Be careful with me." all the night. Be careful with me. She has never forgotten that sentence, and sometimes she has used it in not the right moment. And I said, "Mom, not now." I don't know if you've heard about. A lot of Americans do this. El Camino de Santiago. It's a pilgrim route. And some people will be walking it in this moment all around the year. Walking. If you decide to do the whole pilgrim route, it's a religious route, but nowadays people do it for adventure, spiritual reasons, and it's like 20 miles per day, 1 month walking. A lot of there is an American film that talks about that, The Way, starring Martin Sheen, and he begins El Camino. You find a lot of people on your way, even if you decide to do it on your own. Behind this board, there's a map that you can begin here in Madrid, right? Then everybody ends in the northwest of Spain, in a little town called Santiago de Compostela. Look, I'm going to show you the sign of El Camino. Let me just get nearby the tree. Behind the tree, if you read the name of the square is Plaza de Santiago. And if you look down, there's a yellow and blue arrow pointing that the pilgrim route is that way. Just in case you're lost, it's that way. People go with maps, but you go together. And on the top, the shell. The shell is representing that pilgrim route, El Camino de Santiago. So you're going to other cities besides Madrid? Yeah?
We went to Barcelona.
Okay. You went to?
Yeah.
So you're coming from?
Yes.
Good. This is the last city?
Yes.
You left the best for the last. Good.
Yes, see.
My American friend says that she never gets bored in Madrid. Okay, Barcelona. Okay, this. Okay, that part. Madrid.
Even the people we met in Barcelona were like, "You should go to Madrid."
Oh, really? Well,
It's beautiful.
It gives you many options, right? Do you like art? You've got art galleries. Do you like food? You're in the country, in the right place. You like Broadway shows in Spanish? There we go. You got them all in Spanish around here. In fact, there's none in English.
You should not expect.
So yeah, many entertaining and exhibitions and events. Even for us, we don't have time for so many. So this is called Main Street. Calle, Street, Mayor, which means main or big. This was a sort of avenue in this old part of Madrid that was the way up to the palace.
In America, mayor means like in charge of the city, so we thought that it meant like that plaza we were in the Plaza Mayor, and I thought it was like a royal plaza.
The Plaza Mayor, look, talk about that's interesting because in nowadays, well, it's a place where we can meet, but really in the old times, 200, 300, 400 years ago, it was a place, it was a hub. The whole life was going on at the plaza. When we didn't have the bull rings, the bullfighters were at the plazas, the market, the jail, the city hall. We're about to see a beautiful square now on the right-hand side, which is the first layout of Madrid as a city, right? This building on the right-hand side was the city hall, the first city hall of Madrid, right? It was also a jail of the Kingdom of Spain. A few years ago, the mayor decided to move his office because this was the city hall just 15 years ago still, right? Some of the oldest buildings around here. This is from the 17th, the youngest one. The one in the middle you're going to see, 16th century. And the oldest building we have in Madrid is the tower and the house at the corner on the right-hand side. That's the oldest one we have in the city. So if you walk on the back part of these buildings, you'll find the oldest streets of Madrid. I was saying that the first were the Muslims, 200 years domination, then the Christian troops conquer Madrid in the 11th century, and they begin to build the first institutions, right? There's a very special thing you can do that's been done for centuries. Still, 2025, if you go behind that building, that tower, there's a little narrow street. It's going to take you up to the nuns' convent of Corpus Christi, 17th century. They live their lives indoors, right? It's one of the orders of the Catholic Church that decide to live their lives indoors. They do lovely cookies, lovely pastry every single day, yeah, and they sell them for those who want to try it. So once you ring the bell, you have to look at the timetable, not to disturb them. They're going to listen to her, but you won't see her.
Oh, interesting.
So that's just around there, like it was done centuries ago.
And
No.
what do they sell?
The pastries, Spanish ones. Give it a go. It's really nice, natural, no preservative. Oh, that's incredible. When I get into the church nearby there sometimes, it smells like heaven every single day. You can notice they are beginning to bake all that. Oh, wonderful.
How do they get their supplies if they don't leave?
Well, they get supplies like any other places. They don't go out. I mean, if they go out a little bit, nothing's going to happen. But that's not the way, the style of their living, right? So there might be somebody in charge, to leave, bring the goods for them. And I guess that if they have an emergency, they have to go to hospital, they'll have to go to hospital too, depending of how serious it is. So Plaza Mayor, I don't know if you had time yet to walk around Plaza Mayor. It's on the left-hand side. The arches you can see on the left-hand side take you into Plaza Mayor. This was the last one that was built in Madrid, finished in 1617. That will take you up to the center of Plaza Mayor, where you're going to see a statue with one of the kings, Philip III, who finished under his, when he was ruling, he finished the Plaza Mayor, the main square. This is San Miguel Market. Then 1915, right? 1915, it opens. It was a daily shopping area for everyone, but now it's a place for tapas. Heard about tapas? Small starters, aperitif, big variety. The tapas give you a chance to try a big variety of food. And all these restaurants on the left-hand side are originally caves. Wine cellars in the past could be houses to live, but now they are restaurants. Many tunnels that are now closed, but if they open them, there was a famous thief, a famous robber, Luis Candelas, Las Cuevas, the caves of Luis Candelas. He used to hide in these caves around the beginning of the 19th century. Clever guy, because they couldn't capture him. He knew his way out. He could end at Plaza Mayor on the other side. And if you want to come to have lunch or dinner where Hemingway used to come in Madrid, he used to come to the oldest restaurant in the world. Still, the oldest restaurant in the world, Record Guinness. On the left-hand side, Bodin has never stopped running since 1725. This year, 300 years old. Original oven. Never stopped running, even during our Civil War. You know when we had to stop everyone? 5 years ago, COVID. That was the only moment, COVID.
What was the name of the restaurant that Hemingway ate at?
Bodin. B-O-T-I-N. Bodin. Well, we have many places and many restaurants. That's a good thing. Even if you don't book, you can always find, even a Monday even better, of course. This area gets really crowded. Going down that street on a Saturday, on a Sunday, gets really hard weekends because it's a beautiful area. A lot of people come around, and we got a lot of tourists in Madrid. Look, just to tell you how many tourists we get last year in Madrid, just in Madrid, right? We're 3 million in the capital. The population of Madrid, the capital, 3.5 million, and we receive 11 million people that visit us. The whole country, 48 million inhabitants. We receive 94 million people. I think, used to be the first country with more tourists. Now I think it's France. I thought it was the United States at the beginning. And a lot of Americans are coming to live to the city of Madrid. My friend that lives in Texas, she's a teacher, and she can come to live here already because she's retired. So thinking about Madrid or the south, many options.
I can see why it's a very different world here than it is.
Yeah, she said it's a different way of living. You know, that what you say, you live for working or you work for living. It's even though you can have higher salaries in other countries compared to Spain. We like to enjoy a lot the outdoors, right? And that's why it's a bit old. You know, it's the weather. Even if it's raining, in springtime, summertime, you know, we have daylight after 10 o'clock. Nobody wants to go to sleep. They say that Spaniards are the ones that go last to sleep, and it's true. In Europe, we are quite different from other Europeans in that way, you know. Our timetable, everything later on. So you have any plans to visit any place?
No, we wanted to do the tour first and
To have
then kind
ideas.
of decide how to spend the rest of our day.
This looks like today, rainy day, might be. Well, it's not raining too much, right? But the last weeks has really been, and it's not too cold, compared to December, January, February. But it's a kind of day of museums to be indoors.
Yes. What do you recommend? Do you recommend the Palace or a museum?
Absolutely. I recommend always the Palace. If you don't have time in Madrid, I always recommend the Palace.
Yeah, the largest palace in the world. I'm gonna see that.
Yep. It's a real big palace. You can get a guide over there at the entrance, worth a while. Well, talking about Broadway shows, our international actor, Antonio Banderas, is the director of this show that's going on at this theater we're going to cross in a minute, Gypsy. Have to come to see him.
Is he there? Do we get to meet him?
Yeah, but he's the director. I thought he was acting there, but he's the director only. If I see him, I'm going to go, hey, Antonio.
Our grandma loved him.
Oh, we all love Antonio. We all love Antonio. He's great. And he's such a nice person too, you know. He's really very polite even with everyone. Sometimes, you know, the journalists are not so nice, and he's nice with everyone all the time. There's a few of the Broadway shows going on in Madrid. Mamma Mia, Book of Mormon, Phantom of the Opera, Aladdin, The Lion King, all in Spanish. So if you know the story, not bad. You just follow. Even our movies, we've done them all. For example, look, this building, the red brick building on the right hand side, look at the beautiful entrance. This is an old palace that now is the Ministry of Culture. Here we keep a record of all the films, all the movies that have been shot from the very beginning up to our days. Filmoteca Española. I'm going to show you an old cinema around here where you can watch it. And on our way, we're going to cross a market that's on the sidewalk. Okay, let's go to the market. Anton Martin is this neighborhood. The market is called that way too, Anton Martin. You're going to see that all the restaurants, these ham legs hanging all around. They're waiting to be open. You know, they can be there maybe for 1, 2, 3 years, like a good wine. Has to be the right moment. You shouldn't miss the Spanish ham, those legs, and also the loin, lomo, Iberian, 100% Iberian. When you try that, you will never want to go to the basic medium taste of the ham, because that is gourmet. Look at the market. Over here, the butchers, nice fresh fish. We receive all this every single day from the whole country. We have a big giant market that provides all the restaurants and markets of Madrid, right? A market at the outskirts of Madrid, and we receive everything fresh, nice and fresh every single day in Madrid, even if we're in the center, right? And this is the cinema I was talking about. The cinema is one of the oldest cinemas, right? Filmoteca Española means that over here we watch, first of all, the purpose is to watch Spanish films of all our history. But if you look at the program, March could be an American film, French, German, Japanese, right? Depending. You can go down to the market also, downstairs. That's on the sidewalk, but people are coming out from here. Here we go. Also, they have little places for tapas there too. And look at the beautiful barber shop, the style of the decoration, the tiles. The tiles is really, it was introduced by the Arab culture. So when you go around the old restaurants in Madrid, for example, the low part is always decorated that way with the tiles. And very practical. You don't have to redecorate it, you just wipe it to clean it. Look at the first turn to the right. You're going to see that it's so steep because Madrid is very hilly that you can see the other side of Madrid. Oh, it's a bit foggy, not too much.
That's a street.
Mini San Francisco. Are we okay? Fine?
Good.
Good. Bueno. Ay, bueno. That's a Spanish expression. Bueno is like, oh, well, yeah, not bad, I'm okay. Nothing bad is happening to me at this moment.
How do you say? We thought it meant good. How do you say good?
Bueno, but it's used in both ways. Bueno is, yeah, good. Bueno. But when you say bueno, it's like, okay,
So
I'm okay.
Is it muy bueno?
Yeah, muy bueno. If you, then when we talk about food, right? When we talk about food, if you like something very much, you say rico. Heard of like Puerto Rico?
Yes.
Rico means rich and nice, good. Something that's got a nice flavor. Rico. Ay, qué rico. But if I ask you, ¿cómo estás? You don't say bueno, you say bien. Estoy bien, muy bien.
Hace frío.
And then, well, now you know, you're beginning to ask me a lot of interesting things. Because if I like a man, he looks handsome and nice, we have a slang way. Está bueno. Está bueno. Bueno. I mean, instead of saying guapo, guapo is handsome, nice, but it's a bit of slang saying bueno. Está bueno means, ooh, it is really nice.
How do you say I'm cold instead of it's cold?
Tengo frío.
Tengo frío.
Tengo frío. Así que cuando tengas frío, me pides las mantas.
So it's cold. I want a blanket.
Yeah, you see, not so difficult. The only thing is these people over here in Madrid and Spain speak very fast.
Yes.
There's a difference between the Spanish of Spain and the Spanish of South America. We're very fast speaking. They are much more calm. They speak much slower.
Oh.
Normally. You see, it always works. I began working as a guide with American students that were traveling to Spain, and they thought they were not going to manage with the language, and they made it. They made it. When they were on the free time, they went and they knew how to ask for things. I mean, it worked out. It's practice. Of course, it's practice. That's why we don't, in Madrid, or I don't know if in Barcelona you found more people that speak English, but there's not a lot of people are not very fluent, right? Because usually I have a theory about that, because we think that Spanish is worldwide spoken. And another thing is that at school we didn't really have a lot of practice, right? It's getting better with the new generations. There's a new programs going on the last 15 years at the schools over here, and they are taught some subjects in English. But the other ones that they're kind, but not so easy. That probably, of course, at the restaurants I'll try to. Sometimes you just have to give it a go. The food is nice, so don't worry. Right, we got into the neighborhood we call Las Letras. Letras means words. Got to be with literature. The golden age of Spanish literature, 16th, 17th century. They used to live, those writers, in this neighborhood. That's why they call it Las Letras. One of the most famous books ever written. The most translated book after the Bible, Don Quixote de la Mancha. I don't know. You heard about it? The man who wrote that wonderful book was Miguel de Cervantes. He lived in this neighborhood. So we're going to cross nearby where his house was located, although we don't preserve his house, but the area where it was located. I'm going to show you the oldest house we have in this neighborhood. Also a neighborhood where you can come for a theater play, a classical theater play. So it's the time when they're providing the goods, the trucks, the vans, and other ones that have permission to be around here, right? And this is, if you like beer, this is the famous beer of Madrid. This one over here, Mahou, M-A-H-O-U, Mahou. This building, this nice building, is the Academy of History. Have to be careful because some are pedestrian. The one I'm crossing are pedestrian streets, and this goes very silent. And people sometimes just cross and don't even look, looking more at that famous toy we all love, the mobile phone. This is one of the oldest pharmacies in Madrid, the Lion Pharmacy. I don't know if you can see the year it was founded. There, the metal plaque down there says 1700, founded at the beginning of the 18th century. So let's go to the street of Cervantes. If you look down at the floor, you're going to see golden letters over here. Maybe one of the chapters, talking about the chapters of the book, or maybe the history, right? It's all around. All the neighborhood has writings down at the floor like this. And Miguel de Cervantes, Saavedra. We have two surnames in Spain, the mothers and the fathers. We never drop any of them. Always keep them all our lives. The neighbor of Miguel de Cervantes was a very important writer, not only he was the most prolific writer, not only in Spain, right? He wrote more than 1,500 works, dramas, poems, and his house, we do preserve his house that you can visit around here from the 16th century. We're going to see the gardens from the outside. This is the entrance. Oh, no, today they close because Mondays they close some of the museums. Lope de Vega. We're getting close to Easter. Holy Week is a big thing here in Spain. We're traditionally a Catholic country. So especially on Holy Thursday, Holy Friday, what happens is we're going to cross a very important church in this neighborhood where people are very devoted to this Jesus, right? Jesus of Medinaceli. So the Madonnas and the Christ and the saints are out in the streets in Easter for a few hours. A bunch of people are going to carry it from the morning, afternoon, night time, and that happens all around the country.
You say they carry a cross?
Excuse me?
They carry a cross?
They carry the image of the Madonna that's on the top, or the Christ. Could be a cross, but normally it's an image of any saint, right, or any Madonna, or Christ. Yeah, it could be. Antonio Bandera does that. I'm going to tell you about that. That's interesting because there's something I have to explain sometimes to some American people that may be shocked with some things. Some people hide their faces with hoods. If nobody tells you about that, it explains what it is, you're going to be shocked. That's why when I was getting some people from the United States, I was saying, look, you're going to see this. It's nothing to do with the Ku Klux Klan because it looks like the Ku Klux Klan. But they rob the idea of something that is completely opposite, right? Because they hide their faces because they don't want to be seen. They make a promise about something in their life they want to do in exchange. Okay, please take care of my father. He's ill, and in return I will do this or that. Right? And they don't want to be seen something private, so they hide their faces. Antonio Banderas, the actor, goes every single year up to his hometown in the south of Spain, Malaga, and he does that too. Yeah. In fact, as long as I know, he always, when he had his contract with the American companies, he was said, okay, this week I want it off because I'm going to do this. Look, on the top on the left-hand side, the Spanish Parliament, where you can see the statues of the two lions. That's the entrance into the Spanish Parliament. It's an entrance not for everyone, right? So it opens in special occasions like when the king comes, or when we celebrate the Constitution of 1978. What happened? Why do we celebrate so much that Constitution? Because before that, we had a long dictatorship of nearly 40 years in Spain. And in December, we are going to celebrate the Constitution. It will open that main gate. Everybody can come into the Parliament, right? Normally the politicians will go on in a different entrance. So we're getting out of the old part of the city, and now we're going up to the extension 17th, 18th century, what we call nowadays the Triangle of Art, the three most important art galleries around here. The red brick building on the left-hand side of the corner, the Thyssen Museum, that's a modern art private collection. And I'm going to go a bit downhill to show you where you have to catch the train to, but no, you're not catching the train anymore.
No, we caught it back.
You got it back from, so you know the place already.
Is
Good.
this Atocha?
Atocha, yes. Okay, let's go this way then. So at Atocha is the other modern art museum, the big one, right? Let's go a little bit down. You went out from the modern part of the station. We're going to be crossing the old part. Prado, Paseo del Prado. Prado means meadow. This was a strolling area in the 18th century for the noble families. This was out of Madrid 200 years ago. A lot of streams, a lot of underground water around here that provides the water to the fountains over here. Right, we're about to see a little museum between these big art galleries. If you look on the first turn to the right, yeah, you're going to see the neck of a dinosaur, the replica. But also you can see the gardens, the vertical gardens. This is a Caixa Forum museum. There's an exhibition going on of the dinosaurs they found, the remains at the Patagonia in the south of Argentina. And we are getting up to Atocha, the old part of the station from the end of the 19th century. Did you get to see the tropical garden inside?
No.
It has a beautiful tropical garden inside. And normally when you catch the train, the high-speed train, it's around with the tower of the clock on that side. So yeah, it goes up to Barcelona, goes up to the south of Spain, to the east coast, and to the old capital of the Kingdom of Spain, Toledo. Look at the beautiful building on the other side, over here on our right-hand side. This is the Ministry of Agriculture with a symbol of a victory on the top. The Pegasus, the horses with the winds. Also from the 19th century, when the railway station was built. The botanical gardens begin over here on the right-hand side of the corner with more than 5,500 trees and plants from all around the world. All this area we're going through was the plan of a city of the king in that time, a very important king for our history, Charles III in the 18th century, mid-18th century. Science museums, botanical gardens. That was going on in Europe, right? The lighting, the illustration meant the knowledge was above religion. And next to the botanical gardens, what is considered the most important painting museum in the world by the experts, El Prado. At the beginning, the Prado was a science museum, that's why the botanical gardens are just next to it. And later on, it begins with the private collections of the kings and queens of Spain at the beginning of the 19th century. This is the entrance of Velázquez, one of the most well-known artists from the 16th century, the Spanish school. You have a masterpiece inside, Las Meninas. So if you have the option to have a guide, this is a place to have a guide, yeah. It makes a difference, really, because it's going to explain you the point of view of the painter, why he did it this way, why they were painting that kind of paintings. And it's you can't run away here and there and say, I'm going to the first, second floor. You have to choose a few, enjoy them. An hour and a half, maximum 2 hours, because it's too much. One of the old exclusive hotels of the city, the Ritz Hotel, at the corner on the left-hand side. Didn't have a lot of these hotels at the beginning of the 20th century when they were visiting us. Right, you learned Spanish for a few years, and we're all based on this institution, the right-hand side of the corner, Real Academia Española, the Royal Academy of Language. They decide all the rules of the Spanish language, how we write, how we speak, the new words in the dictionary. God's word, whatever they say. Let me just turn around. I'm going to show you a nice church around here, which is one of the most beautiful, outstanding, the only Gothic style church of the city. San Jerónimo. San Jerónimo, Gothic is always like very pointy. You see those little towers on the sides pointing up high to heaven. That's why the ceilings are high. That's why there's so much light inside the Gothic churches. Traditionally, San Jerónimos were the kings and queens used to get married. Abdications, proclamations of kings. It was part of El Retiro. They had an exclusive area. In fact, all the green areas that we have in our city nowadays, great part of them, the important ones, like Retiro, were just for the privilege of a few. They had their palaces around here. I'm going to show you one of them around the corner. Yeah, things were much more far away 200, 300, 400 years ago. No fast cars like these ones. And the building we're going to see at the end of the street was part of one of those palaces, the dancing hall, Casón del Buen Retiro. Now it belongs to the Prado, so some exhibitions going on at this building. And El Retiro, you shouldn't miss El Retiro. It's a beautiful park. It's at the end of the street. The heart of the park is a big lake where you can rent boats to row. Exhibition palaces like the glass palace that's inside. More than 15,000 trees. The oldest one we have in the city is nearby this entrance, around 400 years old. And it won't become a public park till 1868, Parque de Madrid. Parque de Madrid, when it becomes a public park, when it is bought by the City Hall, although we call it like the old way, Retiro. Retiro means to retire, to relax. That's why it was named that way, because it was a retiring area. Getting up to the landmark of Madrid, which is a gate. This one on the left-hand side, Puerta de Alcala, Alcala Gates. All these gates were checking points to know who was coming in, who was coming out, who had to pay their taxes. There we go. I'm going to turn around so you're going to face it. If you want to take the picture on the front part, I'm just going to turn around. San Benito and San Manuel Church. Looks like some people say, this is a Catholic church. Oh, our church is a Catholic. We are traditionally a Catholic country. Although we have that influence of the Arabs of nearly 800 years in Spain, which means that we use a lot of Arabic words in Spanish. Like 4,000 Arabic words. Ole, we think it's Allah, ojalá, I hope. All the words that begin by al are usually that we use every single day in Spanish. But there is a moment of our history called the Reconquista, La Reconquista, when the Christians reconquer the land to the Muslims. Right, so all these gates that we have, some gates, 5 royal gates in Madrid from the 18th century, they were all surrounded by walls. Not going to be defensive walls like the one that we saw at the beginning, the Arab walls. At that time, it was the limit of the city. They begin to pull down great part of the walls in the 19th century. The traffic in that time, the carriages, the horses. So let's see if we can get a good picture around there. You ready for that? Try to go slow. How's that? You got a good picture when we go down. Also, if you take the picture from the back part, now that we go down, it's a good option too. If you take the picture from the back part there. You're staying at the center or at the outskirts of Madrid?
Right by Plaza Mayor.
Oh, wow, that's a good location.
We walked right out into the plaza yesterday.
And went up to the gardens and, okay. Ooh, the police is coming around. Let them go through. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Look at this beautiful area. Want to mention a few things about this. This is a very iconic fountain over here in Madrid, representing the goddess of Mother Earth, Cibeles. This fountain is very well known because when the soccer team of the city, Real Madrid, celebrates their victories, they celebrate it around this fountain. And there's a big building on the other side. What do you think it is?
Palace.
Ah, you know that we use the word palace even for big buildings, even if no kings or queens have lived over there. But we call it the Palace of Cibeles, the name of the fountain. But it's not a palace where they lived, you know. It is the City Hall of Madrid. It used to be the main post office of the city. About 15 years ago, the mayor moved his office over here, but you can visit the building. It's got a nice rooftop and some exhibitions going on at this building, so it's a possibility not only a place for for the mayor's office. Right, the most important thing of the fountain, the most important secret of the country. Beneath the fountain, 40 meters below, we've got the safe room of the National Bank. The National Bank is on the other side with a golden ball and a clock. So just in case they want to be naughty and get to rob the bank, I don't know if you heard about that TV movie, Money Heist, Casa de Papel. They talk about robbing the Bank of Spain. Never happened in the history. In case they get in, the water is going to flood into the safe room. It's one of the safest banks in the world, and that water we have plenty because it's underground water we have just beneath our feet. That was done a long time ago by the engineer that organized all that security system. He said if you've got enough water, why not use it for safety? And that's what he did. Banco de España, right? The Banco de España. Now we're going to go uphill, and all the building is on the left-hand side. Uphill is the National Bank. The gardens on the right-hand side at the corner are the headquarters of the army. There's a palace, many trees, but there's a palace on the other side. Right, just next to the gardens, there's a beautiful building that was also designed by the architect of the City Hall, Instituto Cervantes. This institution is all around the world to promote the Spanish language and the Spanish culture. So there's a few in the United States. The most important street of the center of Madrid is Gran Vía, where these blue buses are going up. Gran Vía, look at the building at the end of the street with a clock and a tower. Can you see it? Yeah. That was the first skyscraper of the city. Doesn't it look a bit American? Chicago style building, 1929. Telephone company. So it has an exhibition, a permanent exhibition of the phones that the very old ones up to the smartphones we use nowadays. And when they open this avenue to link the other side of Madrid, they're going to choose two style, American and French style buildings. In nowadays we call it the small Broadway because a great part of those Broadway shows are over here at Gran Vía. Nice rooftop, shopping area, and that links with the most important quarters of the center of Madrid. Right, so you're at Plaza Mayor. Another important spot you shouldn't miss, that is nearby Plaza Mayor, and we're on the other side over here. Plaza Mayor is straight, like 10 minutes away from here. But before you get to Plaza Mayor, the area where we celebrate New Year, just straight 2 minutes away from here. It's a walking area. You can't get through with the cars. Puerta del Sol. The last 12 seconds of the whole year, the most important for us. The last 12 seconds, we have a tradition, eating 12 grapes, one per month. January, February, March. That happens in that area. Also, kilometer zero, the main roads of the country begin at Puerta del Sol. Any place in Spain is counted from Puerta del Sol. And you have to look for a bear in a tree, the statue, not the real ones. There used to be a lot of bears. Looks like the kings like to hunt some of those big bears that were in Madrid in the forest we had over here. And that's a symbol of Madrid. Look at the coat of arms at the taxi. The bear and a tree, right? It represents the forest, Madrid. And that statue is just straight over there. A lot of the buildings around here that, for example, this one on the right-hand side, that is a 5-star hotel, Four Seasons, used to be banks. All right, the nice buildings we have around here, banks, insurance companies. Again, we're going to get into the old part of the city, so because I want to take you to the other side of Madrid. We were at the one extension, but now we're going to go right to the other end for the beautiful viewpoint. Right, so 21st of the December, exactly 12 seconds before, exactly 12 seconds. So if you don't do it the right way and you do it before or after, you're not doing it the because it's sometimes people get confused because there's a sound, a specific sound. It's not the bells that begin to sound the bells, ding, 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 ding. But then there's a moment it goes dun, 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 and that's a moment. Some people get so nervous and crazy and say, I began before time, or some, and that the last 12 seconds when that sound begins is when you begin to swallow January, February.
Wow.
Yeah. Right, I got on the other side of Las Letras neighborhood, the writers' neighborhood. So as I was saying, lunchtime begins later on around here. They begin to open for lunch early, maybe 1:30. Tapas can be eaten everywhere. You go to a cafeteria for breakfast and you can have tapas, right? It doesn't mean that you have to wait for lunchtime. That's done from the beginning in the morning. I would say the two tapas that represents a lot Spain is the ham, of course, and that thin slice of ham, that's wonderful taste. Iberian pig, they are free range out in the country, basically fed by acorn. That's why you will read 100% bellota. Bellota means acorn. And they're really worth a lot. Some of those legs maybe 300-400 euros, 500, because they are really, it takes time till they are cured. Sometimes, as I say, the really good ones for years. And the other basic one, everybody that goes on a picnic and that is Spanish, you'll always go with a Spanish omelette. Tortilla española. Otherwise you're not Spanish.
That's what I had for breakfast.
You see? That's very, very Spanish, really. Then, of course, churros and chocolate. Churros and chocolate. But there's another variety called porras. The same place they do the churros, porras. It's like thicker and a bit longer. Try it. Porras.
Is there one really famous churro place?
Yes.
Yeah.
San Ginés. It's an old place from the end of the 19th century. And that's not far away from your place, from Plaza Mayor.
It's got like a whole section. We ate breakfast there this morning.
Oh, right. So you know where it is, that old place?
Yeah.
Okay. So at the same spot you had breakfast there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they have like a cafe and a takeaway and a...
That's right,
Yeah.
that's right. That's full of pictures all around.
Yes.
And what time did you have breakfast over there?
Like 9.
There was a lot of people?
We got there right when it opened, so we were able to sit, but it did get busier.
That's good.
Yeah.
To do things early is the trick, because sometimes it gets too crowded. Very good. Yeah, it's full of pictures of American actors that have been around there, the king.
Yeah.
Oh, it has a lot of
We
history.
were looking at all the pictures trying to figure out who
Well,
was
tell you something, tell you a secret, because that churros place is just next to a disco. I used to go just around the corner, just around. And when we were very late at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, it was like, hey, time for breakfast for churros. That was a perfect moment after long nights. Yeah. And talking about nights and having nice live music, this one, La Revoltosa, while you have dinner. Sometimes, look, flamenco, sometimes they have jazz, depending on the program, right? But it's a nice place, La Revoltosa, live music. This is Las Letras neighborhood, just see if you want to come back here to this area. We've got the recycling truck in front of us. That's done in the daytime, so the rubbish is picked every single day in Madrid. In the nighttime, but that is the recycling, the paper and the glass bottles and all that. So this is not too far either from your place, Plaza Mayor. Yes. Straight. If you go straight, and like on the right hand side, it takes you up to Plaza Mayor.
Is this where the shopping is too? I noticed over here.
The shopping area is around Puerta del Sol and Gran Vía. Puerta del Sol and Gran Vía, there's a moment that it links. It's all pedestrian areas, right? Callao. The area of Callao is between Gran Vía and Puerta del Sol. And you have all over there the big brands, the shoes, the clothes. We're enlarging over here the parking. This is the heart of this neighborhood, La Santa Ana Square, but it looks a bit mess because they're working on the parking down there. So I'm going to avoid the truck that is picking up the recycling, and I'm going this way.
Okay.
Just in case. Right, in the old times, and not so old times, 60, 70 years ago, in Spain, not a lot of people knew how to write or read. But in the very old times, this is an old tavern we're going to cross, 1827, Alberto. Red entrance, decoration, especially at the old restaurants around Plaza Mayor, you find still this old traditional red entrance. Means, if I don't know how to read, but I know that red means I can drink alcohol in this place. Not in nowadays, because nowadays all the restaurants are licensed to sell alcohol. But in those times, not every taverns were. And one of the ideas of tapas is the king, like around the 10th century, the king looks like he finds that a lot of people getting drunk out in the streets, and he orders to serve a little amount of food with the drink. I say that's the beginning of tapas. Also, tapa means lid. You get the glass, you cover it. To cover a glass is tapar. And they used to cover it with a nice slice of ham, a nice slice of cheese. That's why tapas is always a little amount. If you want a big amount, ración, portion. So when we go out and have tapas with friends, with family, we share between ourselves. Right? You like this? I like that? Okay, let's ask for different variety. That's a good option, you know. So Madrid grew up on the top east, very, very hilly, Madrid. And we're going to go a little bit downhill, right, to the other side. We're going to go to one of those parks that we have like 4,000 gardens and parks in Madrid, close to 45% we can say it's a green area in Madrid. Not bad, especially as I say, when it gets very hot over in the city in summer. You won't find a lot of people out in the streets at 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon because we wait a few hours, about 8, 9 o'clock, to get out in the streets when it's cooler. And another churros and chocolate place over here too. Did you go to the flea market yesterday? That was over around this area. That's a flea market on Sundays, a big outdoor market.
No, we didn't see it.
So that's normally Sundays they close the shops, the markets, but that flea market is one of those places to come up, you know, handcraft, shoes, clothes. And we have a few statues around Madrid, like the one we're going to cross around here. In this case, of all professions, right? Like the man who used to put the lights out in the streets. This statue is representing that. Gas in that time, with the gas. And now that it's stopped a little bit raining, it's going to be perfect for the viewpoint. A bit foggy. Maybe the mountains, you won't see the mountains, but you'll be able to see the biggest park that we have in Madrid. And let's go downhill. Right, the idea of building the last Plaza Mayor in the area it is located in nowadays, Plaza Mayor is now like on our right hand side, up there on the right. And it's a bit more even and flat, this area, but now we're going to go steep. The first markets and squares around the 14th, 15th, 16th century were downhill. So the farmers were coming up from the riverside, just at the end of the street, up to the first squares. And we're going to cross under the bridge that we could see before on one of the sides. El Viaducto. So going downhill meant probably that the king had invited you to the hunting grounds that were on this side, to the gardens of the royal palace. The royal palace in our days was built, finished in 1765, but there was an old palace before that one, because we had El Alcázar. That was Alcázar is between a fortress and a palace. That's an Arab word we use to talk about that kind of buildings. 1734, there's a fire in one of the rooms that is going to spread really quickly, because in those times they used to build with a lot of timber, with a lot of wood, and it is going to be completely destroyed. A few years later, 1738, we will build the royal palace that we have in our days. The gardens of the old palace were around just straight. You're going to see those gardens, because in our days that is a huge park. That is 5 times Central Park in New York. You're going to see that from the viewpoint. That one we're going to stop in a few minutes. The gardens and the hunting grounds of the kings of Spain, Casa de Campo. That's one of the biggest parks in Europe. And on our way we're going to see the gardens in our days of the royal palace that are public gardens. Anybody can visit it, but you have to come all your way down. You can't get into the gardens on the top. The street we're getting into, halfway, there's an entrance for anybody that wants to visit. Now in winter it's up to 6 o'clock, open. Right, all these are the royal gardens. Let me get close to the entrance. Has a beautiful path. So just in case you want to come down, you'll know the way to get into the gardens.
One tiny doorway.
So this is the entrance, and there's another one a little bit up there, but as I say, you have to come all your way down here. There's a little restaurant around. It's like a snack place, yeah. There we go. We can see another gate on the left-hand side, St. Vincent Gate. It's a replica of the one that was here at the end of the 18th century. So we will be getting into the city on this side. That's a railway station that used to be one of the main stations of the city more than 40 years ago. Still a station, but not for long distance. Bus station, subway. And the other entrance into the gardens is near the bus stop over here on the right. Over there. Some little gardens out of the area of the palace on the right, on the top, the Sabatini Gardens. And in a few minutes we're going to stop, give you some time, have the viewpoint. But besides the beautiful viewpoint you're going to see, we have a very peculiar building on these gardens and this park that we're going to stop at. 2,200 years old. the oldest building we have in Madrid, not from Madrid, not from Spain. We brought it stone by stone from Egypt. So you're going to see Debod temple from the outside. It's possible to visit it inside too. So, but it's a small place, so they don't allow a lot of people at the same time. They might give you a time for later on. And that was a gift of Egypt, because at the end of the 60s, they were going to build a big dam of Aswan in the south of Egypt. Building all those infrastructures was going to cause a few floods in the area. And they need to move some of the temples, some of the monuments. A few countries help with that, United States also. So you have your own Egyptian temple, but yours is in a museum, right? Ours is outdoors. It's the only one that is outdoors. So it took us 2 years to rebuild it back again. Very, very difficult task. And in 1972, it's going to be put at this on the top of the hill of Príncipe Pío mountain. You're going to see a little bit before we get to stop part of the entrance into the temple when we get out of the tunnel on the left hand side. So as I say, a lot of people come here for the sunset, especially with the nice weather. The good thing is when you come traveling in winter, you don't find so many people. So I think you're going to have a great part of the park and the temple and the view for yourself.
You like that?
Isn't it? That's like a private, completely tour. Right, so I'm gonna stop around here after the traffic lights. Instead of picking you up on this side, I'm gonna pick you up on the other side, right? Not over here, on the other side. So once I stop you around here, there's some stairs, take you just on the front part of the temple of Debod. Keep on going straight. You don't have to move from one place to another. Keep on going straight. And when you get to another balcony like the one that's over here, go like on the left hand side. The best view is on that left hand side. You're going to see all the old part of the city where we came from, the palace, the cathedral. And then you're going to see that big forest, that big park, Casa de Campo. You'll be able to see from over there even the roller coaster, the amusement park that's on that side. And as I say, you have to keep on, just go up these stairs, keep on going straight. And on the other side, there's another balcony like this, and you'll see me from the top. I'll be waiting on the other side, right? So like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, whatever you need.
This tour is so good. I have the most amazing guide. She's incredible. She's giving us so much information about Madrid. And right now we get to get out, stomp, walk around for a little bit. We're gonna go take a look. This is what she was talking about. There's a temple here from Egypt that they brought here brick by brick and rebuilt. And there's gorgeous views of the city. So let's go take a look at that. So here's a look at that Egyptian temple that was brought here brick by brick from Egypt in 1970 and rebuilt in the center of Madrid. You do get an incredible view of Madrid up here on this park, and over there we're gonna go take a better look over in this direction. But she said that's the biggest park in Madrid, and it's actually 5 times the size of Central Park. Get this incredible view of Madrid from the palace over there. This is a great spot to stop.
Vámonos.
Oh, you have your seatbelt on.
Yes. Towards me.
Yeah, a lot of nice green areas around the city. Happy dogs all around Madrid. And this is a beautiful place to live around because you've got this park, then you look forward and you can see all the huge park on the other side. So the views are great. So normally apartments at the center of Madrid. If you want to have your house with your gardens, it's at the outskirts.
Is housing expensive here?
Oh. Look, I live at the outskirts because if I had to live over here with, our salary is around 1,300, 1,400, which is not bad at all, but a lot of people make their living on 1,200 or 1,000. Cheap apartment, and not in this lovely area, 900 euros, one bedroom, so yeah, it's quite difficult to survive. Yeah. And this is... We crossed before the exclusive area of Madrid, but maybe renting a house around here could be 1,500, 2,000, could be. Buying a house, maybe 1 million, 1.5 million. Yeah, in this area, I'm talking about this area. And of course, the historical area, incredible. These arches over here on the right-hand side are part of the remains of military checking point that was over here. So each time we are excavating, for example, we're making much more pedestrian areas on the top, so we find part of palaces or part of those old buildings that just 2 or 3 steps under.
Oh, is this back to the parking garage?
Yeah.
Where we started?
Yeah.
Oh.
Around the other. That's a very useful parking.